Time for the 49ers Rush Podcast. And here's your host, John Chapman.
What is going on, faithful? It is absolutely incredible to be with you guys today. Excited about today's show because we're going to be talking some Niners stuff. There's not a lot of NFL news currently, but that's okay. We're going to talk about some of the Niners stuff going on. But then I want to kind of divert today's main attention to the NFL draft. We're in April. It's right around the corner. I mean, we are there. And so the process that I'm going in through now, I've got about 115 draft write-ups completely finalized. I've got my war room first through third round completely slated position-wise, then 1 through 100, so on and so forth. Like, I've got that set up. And it's still evolving. It's not a finished process, and I'm still tinkering with players and positions. And, once I finish, about the 200 players, and look, I'm going to be honest with you guys. We want to talk about like, what you got a 5th round grade on a guy versus a 6th round grade on a guy. There's not much difference between those two. And this is always the mundane process that I go through every year. This is the 8th year we've done this. We're trying to get about 250, but I'm going to be honest with you. There's not much difference between 170 and 230. There's a big difference early on. There's a big difference between the 2nd rounder, 1st rounder, and there's a difference between the 3rd rounder, 2nd rounder. But once you get to these day 3 guys, especially like after the 4th round, it's pick your poison. It's really tough to differentiate what it is about the number 8 safety versus the number 10 safety. It's really just, what do you want? Do you want somebody that's better in run coverage? You want somebody with more versatility? You want somebody with better ball skills? Like, you're going to pick that guy. And so I don't want people to get too caught up on, so-and-so. I put my top 50 out on Twitter, and like, okay, for example, I have Rome Odunze number 4. I have Malik Neighbors number 5. I like Odunze more. First time I did my top 5, I had Malik Neighbors ahead of Odunze, but then I went back and did another round of tape. I switched them back. They're that close. And, Joe Alt's my number 6. Huge chasm, right? Malik Neighbors and Rome Odunze, like, can't discern between the two. They're so close. Number 6, who's right behind them in my rankings, that is a cliff, ladies and gentlemen. And the draft is kind of peppered like that. You say like, he's your number 6 guy. You have him 1 spot behind it. Huge difference. If you got a top 5 pick of this draft, salute to you. Because I think there's 2 stud quarterbacks and 3 stud wide receivers. Everybody else, Joe Alt's my number 6. He's got a mid-1st round grade for me. Mid-1st round grade. Like, he's worthy of about the 15th pick. He's number 6 for me. Why? There's nobody else that I see worthy of that top 10 status. Yeah. I mean, like, listen right here. Joe Alt's number 6. Terrion Arnold 7. Jared Verse, I'm very high on. Number 8. Latu 9. Fashanu 10. Those guys round out my top 10. None of them are worthy of a top 10 pick, but that's what you get. The draft escalates players based on who's available. Just because they're not worthy of top 10 pick status doesn't mean they're not going top 10. Does that make sense? And so as we talk about all this craziness and draft stuff, just remember, man, it's all relative. Just because somebody have a 1st round grade doesn't mean they're not going in the 1st round. Every single year that happens. That's just the way the draft works, because you can only pick what's available, right? That's it. What's the supply? Well, the demand doesn't meet it. Somebody's got to go number 6, even if there's not a player that is worthy, quote unquote, of a number 6 overall grade. Want to say shout out to everybody showed up. What's up, Raphael? My man, appreciate you. We got Mike C. Oh, Raphael, tell everybody, go like and subscribe. Raphael's a smart guy. What's up, Applesauce? We got Kevin, bro, Tommy. You guys are awesome. What's up, Steven? Glad you guys are here. Oh, look at Matt. He's winning. Matt says, #CC from Cabo. Golly. And I do have to give a little update. I am going to be out of town. I'm doing a quick weekend trip with a couple buddies that is long overdue. So I'm leaving Thursday early morning, but I'll be back Monday. Won't get back till late though, because I'm flying East Coast to West Coast. But so the weekend shows, those won't be around. This will probably be my last break before the Super Bowl, or sorry, the draft. It's the Super Bowl for me, right? What's up, Matt? How you doing, man? Morning. He says, hope all is well. It's doing great, man. And Mike, yeah, let's talk about Brock. Performance-based pay came out, and this is a way that the new CBA has set aside certain money to help kind of the back-end draft guys like Brock Purdy. Dude's barely making $1 million this year. Not that that's a small amount of money, but whenever he's the lowest paid quarterback on his own team, that should tell you something. The number 3 quarterback gets paid more, Brandon Allen, than Brock Purdy will this year. And the number 2 quarterback gets 2.5 times more. So the NFL does this performance-based pay scale. It's broken, but it's better than nothing. And not one, but 2 49ers were rewarded extra pay. Diamador Lenore, Demo, actually got more money, which that should tell you how broke the system is. He got $790,000, whereas Brock Purdy got $739,000. So both of those players basically got their entire salaries matched, just a little less, about 80% of their salaries matched, which is awesome. You love to see players that deserve to be rewarded. And this is nothing like the $45-50 million that he's going to get. It's funny because, they asked Jed York, are you prepared to pay Brock, a $40 million plus contract? And I was sitting there and, we had our Zoom hangout with our Patreon and the 49ers Rush subscribers last week. And we started looking at contracts for the quarterback. And I was like, man, $45 million sounds about right. I don't think it's going to be that, especially if you have to wait a whole nother year. It's going to be $50 million plus. And he deserves it. He deserves it. Dude has played for the smallest level contract at the most important position. Dude got MVP vote consideration, right? I mean, I think he was 5th. He actually received MVP votes. He's been to the NFC Championship and to the Super Bowl in his only 2 years starting. And man, I don't want to do this. I was thinking about a whole episode of this, but why not? Let's just, I'm going to drop a grenade and then run away. Like, how much further? Here's the question that I'll put out on Twitter and social media. Is Brock Purdy already the 3rd best quarterback in 49ers franchise history? Is he already number 3? And I had, every offseason, and we'll do this again once, July rolls around and there's not much news and whatever else, we do our nostalgia series where we go back through and update our ranks, top 5 running backs, top 5 wide receivers, all this stuff all the time for the 49ers. Where does Brock fit? Where does he fit? Because it's only been a year and a half. I mean, so like longevity's not there, but the results are. The results are. And, whoever you want to put in that second tier, you got Joe, you got Steve. That next tier, however you want to go about it, whether it's Jeff Garcia, or whether it's Jimmy Garoppolo, I think Brock's firmly past that one. Colin Kaepernick. Some people want to put Alex Smith in there. I don't. I love Alex Smith, but just way too many bad years. Like, I don't know. This is a conversation. This is a debate that, we got it. It's time to have. Sin, what's up, Sin? She says, John, I've been missing the Zooms. I know we missed you. You're incredible. I know you're traveling around a lot. I hope everything's okay. Tommy, I appreciate the support. He says, hit the thumbs down in the most Tommy way ever. He is joking. Tommy's the man. JP, my man, how are you, brother? #CC. Appreciate you. Oh, we got an update. Flag football team is undefeated so far, and I'm coaching baseball next. Would love to pick your brain about some fundamental drills. Oh, dude, always. Just hit me up. You got my number. Congratulations, though, man. This is the year of JP, and I am very happy to just root along. He got another kiddo. He's coaching. All things are going well. Hopefully, you're awesome. Sin says, also, you still doing a draft party in Vegas? No, I want to be doing a draft party in the Bay Area, probably. That's a plan. We've got a list, which is awesome. And I've got some elite help, which I'm super excited about. People are the best. And so I got to get on the phone today after I finish this show, call some businesses up, which is my least favorite part of this. I can't stand trying to sell my show to businesses and the finances and all that stuff to rent out venues. I can't stand that, but that's okay. The end result's great. So hopefully we'll be able to get a spot in the Bay Area. I know you're out in Delaware, but you're incredible. Thank you so much. What's up? Sean, the man. Here we go. So I'm trying to see if we got any of these Brock Purdy thing right here. Mike says he is. Yes. Oh, I like this. I dropped it off, and yeah, right here. Sid, thank you. I don't care much about any of that. Brock is Mr. Right Now. Yes. I love that. I love it. David says Brock is number 3. Yes. Yeah. Brock and Jimmy are 5. Only Garcia is above them at 3. Young. Oh, very good, Oscar. I like that. Oh, there we go. Applesauce says like that. I got a new hat. I always get a new hat before the draft. I ordered the 2 new draft hats, the gray and the black, I think, or the gray and the red. They just haven't showed up yet. I paid for them. Paid for express shipping, which I felt kind of bougie whenever I clicked that. I never clicked that, but I wanted it before I went to this next trip this weekend, and they didn't show up. This one did, though. I'll be rocking this one. Right here, Oscar says, Brock can't be 3. Needs to do it for a few more years. I'm fair. That's fair. And right here, Big Joe. Will Brock take the home team discount to keep the core together? I think in today's NFL for quarterbacks, the closest thing you're going to get to a hometown discount is contracts like Jalen Hurd, Patrick Mahomes. Those are hometown discount contracts from the quarterback position. Then you get the opposite of that, Kyler Murray, Deshaun Watson, Daniel Jones. Those are the worst of the worst contracts as far as the team building standpoint goes. And then everybody else, Lamar Jackson was very team friendly as well. But the big numbers come out sometime soon. And so I don't want him to take a discount. I want him to take a long-term deal. I would be very happy to do a Mahomes-esque deal. I know he's not Mahomes, but a 10-year with all these built-in, adjustments and restructures, that's what I want. That's as close to hometown deal you're going to get. Brock's already given us the hometown deal by being drafted in the 7th round. So it's not on him, and it's not on Eric Armstead either. I know I haven't talked about this at all. Go get your money. Go get your money. And again, I know it's easy for us to sit here and say, oh, why don't they care about the team like I care about the team? All right, that's true. But think about your job. Your boss calls you in and says, hey, we know this is what you're worth, but we're going to pay you a little less so we can keep Jane from payroll and Susan from HR. Cool? You're going to be like, no. HR sucks. No offense if you work HR. Our personalities probably don't get along too well, but great people work in HR. But I'm just saying, no, you're not taking that. No. Like, whoa, I want to go back to the conversation of what I'm worth. Can we pay me what I'm worth? That's just the way humans are. And I'm not saying, I've made all of my financial decisions based on money. I have not. My lifestyle reflects that, but that's okay. I don't think Brock needs to take more hometown discounts personally. Dude deserves to be paid. Really, really does. I think once players that get paid millions and millions and have made hundreds of millions of dollars, then that conversation can be had once the generational wealth has been established. But until that point, man, go get yours. Go get yours. Go get it, man. And he has the opportunity to change not only his life, his family's life, his kids' life. You know what I'm saying? And that's something I wish I could do. I haven't done that yet. So for me to sit here and say, oh, take a hometown, I'm not saying that's what you're saying either. Big Joe. No. Go get paid. Go get paid, man. Oscar right here. Are you looking for a restaurant, bar, or something else? Yeah, I've got a short list. Sports bar, comedy show, something where I could broadcast live. I'm going to have a couple co-hosts, which they don't know that yet, but they're coming out. And we can just broadcast live with TVs on, which I can supply the TVs. I can supply the speakers. I've built up my arsenal of party, whatever. to where, we can have 49ers centric coverage in the draft area for 49ers fans. And I know we don't pick till the end, but I want to be updating the NFC West teams, what the big board looks like for the 49ers, possible trade ups, all those things. I want day 1 and day 2. If I'm being greedy, I want Thursday and Friday. That's what I'm looking for. About 100 to 150 people to come out, make sure they got seats, they can enjoy themselves, and we have a good time. That's always what I'm looking for. What's up, Rick? He says, Mr. John Chapman, good morning to you. My friend, I'm listening to you, just plugged into your show. Go ahead. What's up, Rick? Glad you're here, brother. And right here, Mike. Yeah, long-term with Kyle, that feels like a good situation for both of them, and I'm excited too. And the best thing about Brock Purdy's deal, you could do some fun stuff with it. Because you look at the conclusion of the 2024 season for Brock Purdy is the first time that you are even available to start contract negotiations. Now, here's the good thing. It's not like Brandon Ayuk. It's not like Debo. It's not like Armstead, Kittle, Warner. It's not like any of those guys because Brock hasn't been paid. And the 49ers, it benefits them to get the deal done sooner, just like it benefits Brock to get the deal done sooner as soon as he gets that signing bonus. Cha-ching, 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 cha-ching. That's why I call it a signing bonus. But it helps the 49ers because you don't have, you get to spread out that $1 million cap hit that's still left on that year 4 of the deal, however you seem fit. So you're still getting the 1 year. It's going to be an extension, right? And so you get to spread that out. So you get to have fun with those numbers as a 49ers, contract, Parag Marante, he gets to finagle some stuff. So you might get this huge, gigantic number, but you got to remember in the law of averages, if it's a 5-year deal, for, I don't know, 5-year, $250 million deal, just off the top of my head, you got to realize in that is a 1-year, $1 million deal. So you average that with the $50 million. You see what I'm saying? This is a win-win situation. You want Brock long-term. Brock wants to be here long-term. You're going to get to have some fun with that. And you're going to get, you can back it all up. Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. And yeah, Jacob, I would do this right now. 10-year, $50 million, sign me up. Don't care. However it's worked out, sign me up. Because you look at where Patrick Mahomes is now, I don't even think he's a top 5 paid quarterback. The market's going to keep increasing. So, yeah, 10-year, $500 million, sign me up. Yes, love it. That just gets me excited, man. Sid, I want to say thank you. And, one of my favorite times is Sid's always been a huge supporter of the show. Thank you so much for your kindness, your generosity, and just being a part. Hanging out with you at the Super Bowl in Vegas was really cool. Sid says the Super Bowl party you had was amazing. Too bad the results weren't what we wanted. But yeah, we had 500 people on the strip just having a blast. All Niners fans. It was incredible. Man, that was fun. I wish we would have won, but that's what it is. So shout out to Brock Purdy. Shout out to Diamador Lenore. They are awesome. They got extra pay, and I do believe those are 2 cornerstones of what the 49ers will want moving forward. I know we haven't paid corners very much, but I think Diamador Lenore is going to be a mainstay for the 49ers for a long time coming. I know we've said that about other players that weren't the case, but I'm telling you right now, Demo can play outside, inside. Our new DC has coached Nichols for the past 2 years. I'm just saying, Demo's not going anywhere. He's not. And remember, not too long ago, we had, myself included, had Diamador Lenore on the bubble going into year 2 because he didn't play that much. He started his first game rookie year. Then he lost his job. And it was just like, all right. Ambry Thomas is the guy we guess. Wrong. Man. Yeah. Big Papa, what's up, man? Hashtag CC. It's been a while. Good to see you on. Hey, glad to see you, brother. I love the AVI. He has coined the term green lot instead of green law, and he's got a little picture that he made, which is awesome. It says green lot. I love that. That is awesome. Whew. Can't wait for that dude to get back. Man, I miss him. Can't wait for football to be back, to be honest with you. It's, the cool thing about doing all the draft work is I get to watch tape for several hours a day. Started about 6 o'clock this morning. So, before I jumped on, I got a good 2.5 hours of just watching college tape, which is fun. I enjoy it, but it's not 49ers. I miss 49ers. And right here, but so I keep forgetting Drake Jackson's on this team. Yeah, maybe. It might be the end of the road, man. And, I hope I'm wrong, just like I was with Demo. But, yeah, man, he is at the bottom of that depth chart. And Drake Jackson was the guy I was high on. Drake Jackson was the guy I wanted drafted. Yeah, that's rough. All right, let's dive into let me break up just real quick my draft grades so far, first, second rounders, which I'm really pumped about. I have to put this out there. I do not take players off my board. If I was the 49ers grading these players, there's several times where I'd be like, nope, off the board, not draftable, not draftable, not draftable. But they're a first-round talent, and they'll go in the first round to a different scheme or a different coach that values different things, whatever else. I have 24 first-round grades. The 49ers pick 31. Is there a possibility one of those 24 falls to 31? I think there is. How that's going to look. Will the 49ers have 24 first-round grades? They will not. They'll probably have about 15. Because, again, they remove players from boards. Do you think that the 49ers are doing Caleb Williams evaluations? I don't think they are. They didn't even do a Patrick Mahomes evaluation when they didn't have a quarterback and they were picking second overall. So I doubt they're putting a lot of effort into Drake May and Caleb Williams. I just don't see that. Are they doing a Marvin Harrison Jr.? No, that's not a possibility. You couldn't get them if you tried. You can't jump from 31 to 3 or 4. You can't do that. And if you did, you'd be in trouble because of what you'd have to trade away. And now we know this, and I want to play a clip from John Lynch here. It's been a long time since the 49ers have had a first-round pick. And, man, I bet they're excited.
We're looking forward to that many picks. I mean, being back in the first round again, albeit at the end of it, that's an exciting thing for us. I love the draft process. It's really exciting. I like, free agency's fun, but free agency's crazy, and it kind of seems frenetic, and you always devise a plan, but it's very fluid. I just like the process of the draft and the way we do it, and it continually, the longer we're together, I think it improves each year. So excited at the opportunity of adding that many players now. Do you take them all? Do you move around? That's always subject to what we choose to do on that weekend. But to have that many picks, we want to make them all count and make them work for us. And we've talked a lot about extensions and things. And the more you do, I think it's really important that a big chunk of your roster is young, and the youth. And infusing some of that into our team, whether it's immediately helping or into the future. So we're excited about the process, and can't wait till right after Easter, Tuesday. Our draft meetings will start, and we'll get going with the coaches, that part of it, and it's really our R&D staff. It's a cool process.
I saved that clip. Shout out to Juan Salas for all the help on getting these clips for today, because today is the day that the 49ers coaches get brought into the whole evaluation process. So basically what has happened so far is all the scouts and all the, player personnel, all those guys, they kind of built it up. We got a second round on this guy, third round on this guy, all that stuff. Then they assign that to the coaches, right? The linebacker coach goes and watch all the linebackers, the defense, so on and so forth. And then the coaches get brought into the meetings and they'll say, look, I think you're too low on this guy. I think you're too high on this guy. I like where you have this guy. I don't think he's a fit. I want to work with him. What about this? And that's where the kind of mix, the cocktail that is the 49ers war room gets created. That's what they're doing now. That's fun. That's awesome. And so it's a true building forward, which I really, really like it. And I wanted to highlight this comment. Mike's the man. Really appreciate this dude. He says, my 3-year-old has a pair of foam claws and he calls himself Green Claw. Man, The future's going to be bright. Raising them right, baby. Raising them right. William says, we don't want Marvin Harrison Jr. Are you kidding me? That dude, and I put this in my draft right up of him, he would have been the first wide receiver in the past 6 years minimum to go off the board. You put him in any draft. Marvin Harrison Jr., and I don't care. Jamar Chase, don't care. Marvin Harrison Jr. is him as far as I'm concerned. I know the no testing. I know all that stuff. Don't care. That tape, whew, and I had to stop watching corners play against Ohio State. So, like, let's say I'm watching a corner, right? Whomever, Max Melton, who I really like, and who probably did better against Marvin Harrison Jr. than almost anybody else that I've watched so far. But, like, I'll go through my database, and I'll look at, okay, Max Melton versus Notre Dame, Max Melton versus West Virginia, Max Melton versus Ohio State, right? And I always try to pick, oh, well, so-and-so, the opposing team, has an NFL draft-worthy player across from him. Let's see how he plays against NFL talent. That's my go-to. I want to see best on best. I stopped watching corners against Ohio State. Don't do it. I'd go to another game. Don't care who it is. I'd rather watch subpar performance because you're just not getting a good read. Because Marvin Harrison Jr. just eating everybody's lunch. Everybody's lunch. And it's just like, I can't tell what this player's good at because Marvin Harrison Jr. is putting these dudes in the doghouse. And this goes to NFC West. Damn, I hope. I hope so bad that the New England Patriots take Marvin Harrison Jr. I do not want him to go to the Cardinals. I do not want, not that I'm like fear or whatever else. I just don't want to see this guy twice a year in our division. I really, really don't. Not what I want. It's not what I want. He's pretty damn good. Anyway, we have no shot at him, so that concludes our conversation on him. Jacob says, would be more excited to have pick 32. Yeah, we could trade back, but I know what you mean. I wanted to win that, and I'm mad. Right here, Thomas says, I'm interested to see how this draft works out with Adam Peters. I am too. The sad thing is we're not going to know for 3 years. I feel like one of the things Adam Peters, kind of his fingerprint, is the day 3 guys. You know what I mean? And I don't know. We're not going to know if they hit, especially with how Kyle Shanahan had red shirts, everybody. But I don't think we're going to have that luxury for too much longer. I really, really don't. We got the thumbs up on Green Claw. That is awesome. Lori, what's up, man? He says, great insight into the draft process, behind the scenes of what goes on. Thanks, John. #CC. Man, dude, that's what's up. All right. Let's dive into, excuse me, our top 5 of each position. I said offense. We'll see how this conversation goes. And then we'll see. I might do defense as well. But real quick, the best way to support the show, I got to blow my nose real quick. So best way to support the show right here. I am so excited to announce our new platform launched, the49ersrush.com. We've been active on Patreon for years, and we're still going to keep that community going. But the 49ersrush.com has everything Patreon offers and a bunch more. You want to watch player breakdowns? Guess what? You click that. It's filtered based on players. You want to see Javon Hargrave, what he brings, some CMC tape broken down, Ayuk, Jair Brown. We've got hundreds and hundreds of tapes on. Now, you want football 101. You want to learn scheme. Guess what? We've got every single offensive, defensive, special team snap. Head over to the 49ersrush.com, sign up, join the community, and plus we got a 7-day free trial. So, all right. Let's do this. Let's start with the quarterbacks, which I don't think this really affects the 49ers. Whatever. It's what it is. Caleb Williams, Drake May, Jalen Daniels. Those are my first round grades. Michael Penix Jr., Bo Nix. McCarthy's my number 6. I have a second round grade on him. He's probably going to go in the first round, but I have no third round quarterbacks. You go down to Michael Pratt. I've got a 4th round grade on, but I don't think the Niners are going to take a quarterback unless it's late day 3, 6th round, probably the earliest, even if somebody like kind of falls. But that's just my idea. Mike, this is kind. He says Chapman ruins a lot of other draft coverage for me. That's very nice. my whole thing is the draft is my baby. And I want, like, growing up, I wanted to be a general manager. Like, that's what I want. Like, if you could ask me, probably still to this day, you could do anything that you want to do in the world, I'd be a GM. That's what I would do. Like, I hate Jerry Jones with every fiber of my being, but if I owned an NFL team, do you know who the general manager would be? Be this rosy-cheeked dude right here. Like, I would hire myself. Yep, hired. And people would hate it, but that's what I would do if I could do anything. And so I get to kind of simulate the experience, perhaps, and try to dive in. And again, you know, any player I mention on here, I've watched at least 2 game tapes on them, at least. A lot of the ones that are Niners fits, way more than that. So, yeah, I'm wrong. Yeah, NFL teams are wrong. I had Josh Rosen really high on my board. Whenever he came out of the draft, I was wrong. A lot of other people were wrong too. But I will tell you, last year, my number 1 player on my big board was CJ Stroud. So I have the hits. And, you know, I did the draft crushes from last year. And I went back through and I was just curious. I was like, man, I wonder if I could turn this into a show. And I just went through and charted what did all of my rush crush guys do last year. Listen to, you know, I think I picked like 13 guys that I was higher on than consensus. Tank Dell, I loved him. He hit. Trevon Dexter, Brandon Joseph, Josh Weil, Yaya Diaby, Jonathan Mingo. You know, there's some guy, Dante Steele, Forsyth, Cameron Toon. And not all of them hit. Cameron Peoples, I loved, and he's not even in the NFL anymore. Starling Thomas, you know, Caleb Murphy. Like, there's some guys that I love that hit. They all didn't hit, but these were like 6 round guys that I was like, oh, I'm telling you, like, there's something here. And it went pretty well. It went pretty well. Bobo says this: as GM, you draft every player from the Texas Longhorns. You know, I don't think I'm that bad, but I'm not drafting Quinn Ewers. I'll tell you that much. Yeah, I like Texas. Got some players for sure. I don't think I'm higher on most. I'd say the 2 Texas players I'm higher on than most is A.D. Mitchell and Byron Murphy. I'm very high on those 2 players. Right here, I still cry seeing Humphrey. Yeah, Creed Humphrey was my guy. I liked him more than Trey Lance. But anyway, and right here, Sin, talk about another miss. Where did you rate Purdy? Undrafted free agent? Wrong. I was wrong. Even after we drafted him, I was wrong. I liked what he did in the preseason, but still, I was like, man, I don't know the inconsistencies. I was wrong a lot. And, you know, I do think that I am right a lot, but definitely, you know, on par with NFL teams. I don't know if that's a positive. Oh, right here. Thomas says, my all-time worst draft crush was a guy named Marcus Hunt. Yeah, he was out of SMU, and he was like Lithuanian. He was a huge, like 6'8" Lithuanian. He was awesome. Yeah, Dallas guy. Man, he was fun. He was fun. All right, so those are my quarterbacks. My running backs, I do not have a first-round grade on anybody. I have 1 second-round grade, but, and this is another peek behind my draft process, I don't have access to medicals. I don't. So players that are like severely injured or, you know, red flagged, what am I supposed to do? I'm not getting the results of his knee scope or whatever. And so this is something I've always struggled with. Do I knock somebody down because of that? And I just put in my draft book, which is available to everybody. Everybody's going to get it 2nd week of April. Man, I ain't got much more time. 2nd week of April, probably around the 12th to 14th. Everybody gets it. That's a member of the 49ersrush.com, any level, and a member of our Patreon, any level. It's about 100 pages, write-ups on 250 players, some more in depth than others. But I just put on there, up to the team's medical. I don't know. I really don't know. Jonathan Brooks, he's my running back 1 from Texas. I think he probably could have been a first-round graded player. His film says so. The medical, who knows? Jalen Wright, Tennessee, speed. Will Shipley, Clemson, way higher on him. I've got a 3rd-round grade. He is the closest. He's not CMC. He's not. He is the closest all-purpose back in this draft as far as catching, routes, could be a slot wide receiver, could be a running back, could do it all. Will Shipley. He's on the Niners' radar. Most people have him in the 4th, 5th round. I've got a 3rd-round grade on him. He's just clean. There's no issues to his game. He's not as explosive as McCaffrey. He's not near as good. But he's somebody that in today's NFL, teams will covet. And I think that the teams that like Will Shipley will love him. And the teams that don't like Will Shipley will hate him. And so I think that will push him up boards. Not everybody's board, just about half. Trey Benson, Florida State, he's 4. And Ray Davis, Kentucky. I cannot talk about him enough. I understand there's Frank Gore Jr. Frank Gore Jr. said, I'm more side to side. I've got a little more lateral movement than my dad. If there's a Frank Gore player in this draft, it is Ray Davis out of Kentucky. Nobody's Frank Gore. But I'm telling you, he is the most Frank Gore player I have ever seen in the draft. He looks like him, plays like him. He just plays like him so freaking much. That's my number 5. So those are my top 5 running backs. But, hopefully, again, Niners don't do that. There are a lot of running backs. And I think you can get your flavor of running back day 3, 4th round or beyond. I really hope we don't take a running back in the top 3 rounds. I really don't. Thank you, Willem. I like this. It says Ray Davis is a beast, man. He's as fun as they get, man. I don't know what else to say. He is just freaking awesome. And so, the running backs, there's a bunch of guys, and, Isaiah Davis, I see your question on there. Let me pull him up on our draft write-up. Boop, 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 boop. Isaiah Davis, South Dakota State, right here. Struggling getting the actual tape, besides just the highlights, so my write-up's not finished on him. He had 22 years old, power back, a lot of wildcat runs, 6 foot, 218. He's a big dude. Ran a 4.5 40, huge hands. He's got 10 and a quarter inch hands. Strong, 23 bench press. I mean, he's built. He's big. I don't know how early he's going to go, probably 6th round at the earliest. I got to get some real raw footage on him. That's not just highlights. I need game tape. I struggle with, what do I always say? Going off of a player's highlights is like reading somebody's dating profile. You only get the good. Whereas watching game tape, it's like interviewing the exes and the family. You get all the bad. And so I don't like grading players when all I get is the good, which is what highlights show you. Excuse me. I'm struggling over here. So, all right, let's get back to our top 5. Let's jump to the tight ends. Brock Bowers, the only 1st round graded tight end for me. I have him number 12 overall. I struggle with Brock Bowers. I don't know what to do, because I don't know what team's going to look at him and say, yep, that's a top 15 pick. I couldn't do it. He deserves to go there, but the financial compensation, the measurables, I love the player. I struggle with that. My number 2 tight end is Jatavian Sanders. He's freaking awesome. He's my number 31 player on the board. And, the 49ers have met with him. Excuse me, goodness. Do I think that the 49ers would draft Jatavian Sanders in the 1st round at pick 31? I don't. I would not. If he falls in the 2nd round, I think that's a possibility. Elite playmaker. And I know the tight end position's weird. This dude's a big slot. He can do that crazy. Gosh, man, the production, he's going to be a player. He's just too damn good. We already saw what he played like with a bad quarterback in Quinn Ewers at Texas. Like, he's going to be fine. But he's my number 31 player. I have a 2nd round grade on him. But, man, he's good. He's really good. Theo Johnson, 3rd round, only 3rd round graded tight end. This is a bad tight end class, guys. Ben Sinnott, 4th round. Cade Stover, 4th round. All of them are possibilities for the 49ers, especially if this Brock Wright deal, which we're approaching day 4. So we'll see. If the Lions do not match this, strike this from the record. Jatavian Sanders is not a possibility. Theo Johnson's not a possibility. These 4th round guys, Ben Sinnott, Kate Stover, maybe, but probably not. Not unless they fall to the 5th, 6th round, because then you would have 4 tight ends under roster. You're going to be fine with that. And I think that the Niners really do like Braden Willis as the tight end 3. I think they like that. I don't think they like him as the tight end 2. So those are the tight ends. Offensive tackles, oh man, fun times. All these are first round graded players. Like I skipped over wide receivers. I'm sorry. Let's go back to wide receivers. Then we'll do tackles. I have the most first round grades at a position. Wide receivers, I have 5. Offensive tackles, I have 5. Cornerbacks, I have 4. And so if your question is, what are the deep positions, at least early in this NFL draft? It's right there. Wide receiver, offensive tackle, cornerbacks. That's it. And they're awesome. Oscar says, Xavier Legette. No, not for me. I have a 2nd round grade on him. And he's a damn good player, and the measurables and the highlights say first rounder. That dude can't run a route to save his life. Currently, he needs help. He's a 2nd round player, and I have him ahead of a lot of very good wide receivers. And his upside is up there. But there's some bust potential there. I'm not saying he's a bust. It's just a boom bust pick. He's my, let's see here, 5, 6, 7, 8. He's my 9th wide receiver. I have a 2nd round grade on him. He's good. He's good. Now my top 5: Marvin Harrison Jr. by himself, Rome Odunze 2, Neighbors 3. If you want to switch those, no problem. I got Adonai Mitchell and Brian Thomas, and they're back to back in my rankings, very similar to Odunze and Neighbors, just a tier down. And so, if I look at my overall rankings, like they're at the bottom. Like I have Adonai Mitchell number 22 overall, and I got Brian Thomas number 23 overall. They're at the back. Kool-Aid Minstry is my very last first round grade number 24. So just like they're my back end, but whenever I'm doing my vertical breakdown, right, I just stack 1 through whatever, all the wide receivers, right? And then trying to figure out, okay, is this a first round player or a 2nd round player? And I get to, my next guys, that's my top 5. Xavier Worthy's my number 6. And I'm like, he's a 2nd round player. Like, there's issues to his game. And this is the conversation that goes into my play. 1, can they be elite, the top of their position? If they can't be one of the top of their positions, potential all-pro player, potential Pro Bowler, perennial Pro Bowler, they're not a first round to me. And as soon as questions start arising, can't run the route tree, body limitation, does their elite status, so Xavier Worthy, does his elite speed, fastest player ever at the combine, make up for small body, has tendency to have some drops, it's improved, doesn't run the full route tree? Does it make up for that? And then I look at somebody like A.D. Mitchell in the same system, that didn't matter. It didn't matter. The consistency, the showing up in big games, like lots of different things. Like, I don't know. Like, it's a fun one, man. And going through those questions and those all these different guys, it's fun. Right here, real quick. What about Javon Baker? I haven't finished my write-up on him. I'm halfway through with it. So I like him. The 49ers like him. 22 years old, 6'1", 202. Big O dude. Ran a 4.5 40. Played a lot. 25 collegiate starts. Started at Alabama, transferred to UCF. And you look at his kind of overall rankings, and it starts to make sense because he can kind of do everything. Drops are really high. I'm just going to be honest with you. Drop rate over 10%, that's a red flag. But you're looking at like a Juju Smith-Schuster slash, excuse me, Amon-Ra St. Brown type of player that kind of fits that mold. Where's he going to go? I think he's probably closer to a 4th, 5th round grade than he is a top 5 grade. And that seems to be the majority of wide receivers that the 49ers have met with. They spent a top 30 visit on this dude. And so I'm going to do a full deep dive, but man, I've got so many wide receivers. Like, it's ridiculous. This draft, you're going to get a good wide receiver. I say that. We walk away with Danny Gray. We'll see. But anyway, that's my top 5 wide receivers. Offensive tackles, and I have all these guys in the same tier. Joe Alt, Fashanu, Penn State, number 2. Fuaga, Oregon State, number 3. Latham, Alabama, number 4. Futanu, Washington, number 5. Like, and they're so freaking good. And you just got to kind of pick your poison with these guys. And a lot of teams will have Latham, number 1 or 2. You have a need at right tackle. That's plug and play. You're done. And he's just so smooth. And a lot of teams will have Fuaga or Fatanu as a guard. 49ers won't, but other teams will. I mean, that's 5 first rounders. And, probably I'm going to keep going on this one. Now, those are all my first round grades for tackle. Second round grades. I got Jordan Morgan, Kieran Armagedji. I'm higher on him than most. Kingsley Samata, Tyler Guyton, back into the second round. Then Patrick Paul. Those are my second round tackles. Third round, Amarius Mims and Blake Fisher. Yeah, nobody else is going to have these rankings. That's what I see. I can't stand Amarius Mims' tape because I can't find it. And every tape I see, it's 10 plays. And then he's out of the game. He got injured at the freaking combine. He can't play a whole game. Can't finish the combine. That's a problem for me. And so I don't know. I just Mekhi Becton burned me. and I mean, I think they're the same human being. And I don't know what their personality traits are and all that stuff. I don't get to meet them. I don't get to that. And I'm not trying to down them. I'm just telling you, I am not spending a first round pick on that player. There is no way in the world. He would be off my board. It would be off my board. Oh, but he's so athletic. He can move in space. And whenever he did play, he was really good. When, if you disliked the Javon Kinlaw pick and you complained about his injuries early on, and now you want Amarius Mims, get the hell out of here. No way. No way. No way. There's a lot of talent there. You don't get one early. Second round is going to be peppered with tackles. And I think 1 or 2 will hit. What do you want? You want a high ceiling player? You want Kieran Armagedji. There's risk there. There's injury risk. There's level competition risk. But he could actually be a Pro Bowler. But I had to put him in the second round. Jordan Morgan cannot be a Pro Bowler. In my opinion, he's my highest second round guy. He's got a high floor, a super low ceiling. Super low ceiling. Him and Patrick Paul have the most reps of any of these tackles. Yet they're still kind of project players. That's not good. They're older. They've got more experience, but they're still raw. That scares. That's scary. Not to say they can't improve. That is scary. Slick. He says 49ers are trading up to get an OT center. If they trade up, one of those first 5, I'd be so happy. Fatanu, Latham, Fuaga, Fashanu, Alt. Awesome. Jackson Powers Johnson. Would love it. Now, my interior offensive line guys. I've got only one first round grade. That's Jackson Powers Johnson. And I struggled, very similar to wide receivers, what to do with Zach Frazier and Graham Barton. Now, my order is exactly that. 1, Jackson Powers Johnson. 2, Zach Frazier. 3, Graham Barton. I have Graham Barton and Zach Frazier back to back, but Zach Frazier is ahead of them. And they're both my very first second round grades. So Zach Frazier is number 25 for me. I'm higher on him than probably almost anybody else. I understand that. I love his tape. He fits the background, the wrestling background, the consistency, the attitude. He fits all of those things. Can he be a perennial All-Pro? I doubt it. That's why I put him in the second round. Jackson Powers Johnson, he could be an All-Pro player. That's why he's in the first round. And so you get to Zach Frazier, and that window of talent narrows. Might have a higher floor as a center-only prospect, but he can play guard. But I think center's where he's going to go. But, man, he's so damn good in the run game. Then you get to Graham Barton. Where's he going to play? The athleticism is off the charts. One of the most athletic interior linemen that has ever come across the NFL draft. I love that. He hasn't played there. There's a question. Center's his best spot. Projecting. It's a projection. Hasn't played there. Zach Frazier played there for 3 years. You see what I'm saying? Like, what do you want? If you want versatility, go Graham Barton. We're going to try him at center. Doesn't work out, you put him to guard. Doesn't work out, you put him to tackle. Like, where's he fit? That's why, I got him back to back. I got him 25 and 26 overall. Both, I think, center is their best position. I'm taking Zach Frazier with the 49ers personally because I see center as a huge need. I don't think the 49ers do. I do. Gosh, you put a center on this team like Zach Frazier, CMC might win MVP. Might win MVP. Man. And yeah, I think Jackson Powers Johnson going early. Going to go to the Lions or the Eagles. Yeah, I would not be shocked at all. The Eagles do have a plan at center. They drafted Cam Sturgeons out of Nebraska, who I really liked. He's been guard, waiting to slide over. But yeah, it's a possibility that they go there. I could see Jackson Powers Johnson going as early as 16 to Seattle. Like, he could go anywhere. That dude's on everybody's board. You put him at guard, and he'll be just fine. Oh, what's up, man? Niner Empire, what's up, buddy? He says, keep doing what you're doing, man. Congrats, dude. Appreciate you, brother. Always good, man. Your generosity. The man. Lenore. Such a big fan of that dude. He, since we started this show, I think we're on like episode 1090 something. It might be 1100 by now. I don't know. Like, everything was just about like, okay, what are we doing? I don't want to do the same show everybody else does. And sometimes I'm probably guilty of that. I want to educate and enhance the fan experience and build community. And nobody, and I mean absolutely nobody, has done that more than the man himself. And he hates recognition. But the Niner Empire is just legendary in the chapters. And if you are a person that is not in the Bay Area or in the Bay Area, some of the best chapters are here in the Bay Area. Go to Niner Empire. Just type in Niner Empire chapters. Look at the map. It's incredible. Doesn't matter where the hell you are. Click on there and reach out and join. Literally, you don't have to watch the Niners by yourself. Amazing human beings. And some cities have several chapters. But check it out. It's incredible. Niner Empire chapters. Just type it in Google. I do it all the time. And reach out. Just say, hey, I'm a Niners fan. It's very simple. They're always looking to grow. And so, man, community above all else. It's watching games by yourself can be a blast, but building those relationships, man, a lot of my best friends are Niners fans, which is weird because I grew up in Dallas. And yeah, right here, just about bringing folks together. Life is way too short. Gosh, man, just great freaking humans. I'm very thankful. Thank you. Somebody that's impacted my life in such a positive way. Absolutely incredible. So that's our top 5 offensive positions. I'm going to hold back and do the defensive ones later. I do think, again, first round grades, I got 24. Second round graded players, I got 34. So you add those up. Yeah, what's that come out to? 58? Niners pick 63. This is the problem whenever you're picking at the back end of the draft. There's a chance the Niners sit there at 31, miss out on all their first-round graded players. There's a chance they sit there at 63, miss out on all their second-round players. Do you let the draft fall to you and just say, hey, we'll take whoever's available whenever they get to us? Do you get aggressive? Niners got 10 picks. Could jump up there. I don't know. Actually, I think we have 9 now because we traded one of them. No, we got 10. Yeah, we still got 10. We traded pick 232. But yeah, we still got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We still got 10 picks. Next year, not so much. So, what are you going to do? Big dogs got to eat. Lori says, shout out to the Niner Empire. I love that, man. Caleb May, Daniels, McCarthy will be gone by the time the Falcons and Raiders draft in the first. They may be looking to move up for Bo Nix, Penix. And that's the thing. My favorite drafts, I did the, what would John do draft, and we traded up for Latham. We did a value trade. We offered less than they deserved for the spot. They took it. We jumped up and got Latham, and I love that. But every draft that I love, I trade back. I trade back in the first round. Back in the first, up in the second and third. That is what I would really, really love to do. And because, you look at, just look at pick number 31, okay? Like, these are the names on my big board. Number 31, I got Jatavian Sanders. 32, Chris Broswell. 33, Peyton Wilson. Niners not in on that one. 34, Christian Haynes. 35, Jordan Morgan. 36, Rook. 37, Jonathan Brooks. 38, Kieran Amageji. Now, if I drafted any of those guys at 31, everybody would be pissed. Everybody, man, you're reaching. But you drop back, get a little extra gravy. Now we're talking. Because that'll let you jump up into the sweet spot into the third round, which we'll talk a whole nother day. But, man, that could be fun. Now, finishing out my interior line, I didn't finish them out. Jackson Powers Johnson 1. Zach Frazier 2. Grant Barton 3. Christian Haynes, UConn 4. I've got him graded as a guard-only prospect. I love him in the second round. He played center at the Senior Bowl and did fine. I think guard is where he is best. And then Christian Mahogany, that's my 5th guy. I've got a third-round grade on him. But I have 2 other, third-round graded interior guys, Cedric Van Pran, the center from Georgia, and Cooper Beebe, the guard center from Kansas State. His tape is awesome. He's the anti-Trent Baalke guy. It's like the shortest arms of an interior offensive lineman ever, which is a problem. He doesn't use them too often. He doesn't keep them to the side. But, that's not where he wins. But, a lot of teams with Cooper Beebe out of K-State are going to be, off the board completely. This dude does not fit our metrics profile for an interior offensive lineman because of the arm length. A lot of people value that. I think his tape says second round. I think he'll draft in the third round to a team like the Niners, who, not that they don't value arm length. They do, but less than the majority of the league, if that makes sense. Judd, I think Judd's got a question somewhere. Here we go. He says, Judd, somebody always wants to trade up. Could be true most years, not all, but they want to give you the picks. What do? You want to drop down? Yeah. And so you've got to have a trade partner. It takes 2 to tango, baby. Now, the good news about being at the back end of the first round is you get the 5th-year option, which we're using on Brandon Ayuk now, right? Not using it on Javon Kinlaw, and he's gone. We're using it on Brandon Ayuk, and that helps. The 5th-round option gets exercised about 1/3 of the time each year. So for 32 draft picks, about 10 to 12 get that 5th-year option each year. That's about it. Some years more, some years less, but 10 to 12, that's usually where it is. You pick it at the back end of the first round. And I will say this too. The last time, I think David Lombardi put this up on Twitter. That's where I saw it first. The last time the 49ers were picked 31, they traded up to 25. Who'd they trade up for? Brandon Ayuk. Cost a first, a 4th, and a 5th rounder, I think. Or maybe a 1st, 3rd, 4th. Yeah, 1st, 3rd, 4th. That's what it costs to trade up that far. We paid a premium. Hey, we got a guy and it worked. It worked. I don't give a damn about the 3rd and 4th round pick. Nobody does. You got Brandon Ayuk. You hit a home run. You better hit. Man, this is fun. I hope you guys enjoyed the show today. Our next show that we'll do the top 5 for all the defensive positions and get into some more questions. Hopefully we get some more Niner news, but I don't think we're going to be getting too much more, especially now. You just heard John Lynch talk about the coaches and the scouts are together. They're doing their thing. They're building their board. That's what's happening currently. You guys are the best. I really appreciate y'all. Until next time, stay strong, faithful.
Time for the 49ers Rush.
I totally hit the wrong button there. We're not starting a new show. Stay strong, people. Man, I'm not good at this sometimes.